the apartment with two glasses left out. I never trusted the way our apartment held silence. The walls were too thin to be honest, the floorboards too quick to confess footsteps. When I came home one Tuesday evening and found two glasses sweating on the counter, one with a smear of lipstick that was Myra's shade, the silence pressed against me like an accomplice. The glasses weren't evidence yet, but they were a hint, and I've built a life on following hints. I'm a journalist, the kind who spends months chasing the wrong lead until it reveals the right one. I listen to pauses more than words. I notice who shifts in their chair when a name is mentioned. That habit doesn't turn off at home. It means I hear the timbre of her laugh changing the way a tuner hears a violin string slacken. It means I smell the unfamiliar cologne lingering in our hallway after midnight, faint but precise. It means I know the glasses on the counter had not been washed because she wanted them seen, or because she'd been too shaken to hide them. Myra came in from the balcony with a book she wasn't really reading. She kissed me lightly, like punctuation. "You're early," she said, setting the book down without looking at the counter. That was the moment I knew she'd rehearsed this scene in her head, me coming in, her pretending not to flinch, both of us trying to keep our lines steady. "Deadline vanished," I said, dropping my bag. "The editor killed the piece." I walked to the counter, picked up one of the glasses, and tilted it toward her. "Did you drink for two?" She didn't blink, nor came by. She had a fight with her sister, needed wine, needed me. Her tone was practiced but not lifeless, just enough warmth to disguise the draft underneath. Nor was her colleague at the gallery, the one who always hugged me longer than necessary when she saw me. The one who looked at Myra like people look at paintings they want to buy but can't afford. I rinsed the glasses without answering. She came up behind me and wrapped her arms around my waist, pressing her cheek to my back. "You don't have to make a case out of everything," she whispered. "Sometimes a glass is just a glass." But she knew better, and so did I. The next evening, after Myra said she had a late board meeting, I walked past the gallery on my way to the train. Through the high windows I saw Noor and Myra at the far end of the room. No clients, no art being sold. They weren't touching, not quite, but their bodies leaned toward each other in that secret geometry people adopt when they want to share air without being seen. Noor lifted Myra's wrist to her lips, kissed the inside of it. Myra laughed, quiet and dangerous. The sound carried through the glass like a shard. I should have walked away. Instead, I stayed until the lights dimmed and they left together. I followed far enough back to be invisible. They turned into our street, and that was the cut that hurt most. They weren't afraid to bring it home. My home. Our door opened with the sound of a secret rehearsed. They slipped inside, and I stood there on the pavement like a man locked out of his own life. I didn't confront her that night. She came to bed late, warm with the scent of wine and citrus, and curled into me as if her body was still loyal. I held her, breathing her in, wondering how many people I was embracing at once. When she kissed me, I kissed back harder than usual, trying to anchor her. She gasped and said my name, and I almost believed it was only mine. We made love in a way that felt urgent, desperate. She clawed at me like she needed proof. I gave her all the proof I had, and hated myself for how much I still wanted her. The next day, my best friend Sam came by. He's a lawyer, a man whose gift is making even the worst truths sound negotiable. He sat across from me in the kitchen, sipping coffee, watching me avoid his eyes. "You look like a guy editing a headline you already know is bad," he said. I told him about the glasses, the balcony, the gallery. He listened without interruption, the way he does when he knows the verdict before the trial. "So what's the plan?" he asked finally. "Expose her, leave, pretend you didn't notice." "I want her to tell me," I said. "I want to hear it from her mouth, not from evidence. I want to know why she let me hold her after she'd given herself to someone else. Sam leaned back. You won't like the answer. Affairs aren't poetry. They're logistics. They're who was in the room when you were. I need more than logistics, I said. I need a reason to stay or a reason to go. Then give her a room where she can't lie, he said. I thought about that for 2 days. Then I booked us a weekend away. One of those glass cabins in the woods where the walls reflect you back at yourself until you can't escape. When I told Myra, she looked startled and then grateful. You're full of surprises, she said, and kissed me like a woman who wanted to believe in her own good fortune. We drove out on Friday night. The forest swallowed sound in the way only trees can. The cabin smelled of cedar and unfinished sentences. Myra opened a bottle of wine, poured 2 glasses, set them on the table. My stomach turned. She came behind me and unbuttoned my shirt slowly as if we were writing a script together. I let her. I wanted her. I also wanted the truth. Later in bed, with the rain tapping the glass roof above us, I asked it, "Who is she to you?" My voice was low, steady, like the beginning of an interview. Myra froze, her breath caught. Then she rolled to face me, eyes wide in the dim light. "You already know," she whispered. "Why ask?" "Because I need to hear you choose the words," I said. "Say them and they'll stop being shadows." Tears slid down her cheek. "Nor," she said. "She makes me feel unfinished, like I have more versions of myself I haven't lived yet. With you I feel safe, anchored, but with her I feel like I'm on fire. I don't know how to stop wanting both." My chest burned. I wanted to shout, to accuse, to make her feel the weight she dropped on me. But instead I pulled her close because even broken I still wanted her warmth. She sobbed against my skin. Then she kissed me, desperate, guilty, hungry. We lost ourselves in each other, bodies colliding as if we could exorcise the third person in the room. It was raw, almost violent, but underneath it all was love, twisted, complicated, but still alive. The morning after, we sat in silence, coffee cooling in our hands. Myra stared out at the trees. "If you tell me to end it, I will," she said. "But if you ask me to lie, I can't. I've already lied enough." I looked at her and saw not just the betrayal, but the woman I had built a life with, the one who made our apartment smell like oranges, who tucked her cold feet under me on winter nights, who believed I could write stories that mattered. I didn't have an answer yet, but I knew I wasn't ready to let go. When we returned, the glasses were still on the counter, waiting like silent witnesses. I picked them up, washed them carefully, dried them until they shone. Myra watched me, her eyes full of questions she didn't voice. I put the glasses back in the cupboard, side by side, knowing they would always remind me of what had been poured into them. We live now in the space between confession and forgiveness. Some days it feels unbearable. Some nights when she reaches for me in the dark, it feels like enough. I don't know how the story ends, but I know this. The apartment no longer pretends to be silent. It breathes with us, it groans with us. It carries the weight of 2 glasses that were once left out, and the choice of whether they mean ending or beginning rests in my hands.